Hey everybody, it's time. It's finally time to build the upgrade to my personal PC. I bought all the parts that I could. There's a couple still coming in the mail or being processed or whatever, but I can go ahead and get started. So in today's video, I'm going to go ahead and go over the parts that I have chosen for my build, and I'll get as far as I can in the build process. Welcome to the middle of nowhere. If you've been with the channel long enough, you probably know, or you might not know if you're new, but you probably know that I built my PC last in 2018, also during a horrible mining craze, also when RAM and hard drives, especially solid state drives, were ludicrously overpriced, and GPUs were also out of stock and completely jacked up in price as well. The more things change, the more things stay the same, I guess, as it should be the adage, because it happened again this year. However, I was lucky enough to get most of my parts at their MSRP, minus the motherboard, which did suffer under the tariff and ASUS's we have to increase the price because of costs, and I'm probably doing too many of these. But anyway, for the most part, I was able to get everything at MSRP, which made me happy, and I also just kind of pounced on things as they were available and on sale, and I saved up for the majority of 2020 because I knew Nvidia would be releasing new GPUs, and that's the team I wanted to go with because they are better suited for tasks in DaVinci Resolve than AMD is, unfortunately. Nothing against AMD. Would love to be able to use one of their GPUs. However, I have yet to be able to even buy one, put in a build that I eventually can sell. So anyway, without further ado, let's go over the parts of my new build. Okay, first part, the CPU, the brains of the PC. I'm going with the Ryzen 9 5950X. It's 16 cores, has 32 threads, and will completely be a rendering workhorse and chew through all the 4K footage that I'm doing here, as you can see, in DaVinci Resolve. It would also help me to better process the fusion tasks that I'll be implementing as well, which are basically all the little fancy graphics that you might have seen in some of my videos. Additionally, the improved IPC and the better memory subsystem will just overall give me a better experience than what I currently have, which is a 2700X. For my motherboard, which is arguably one of the more gratuitous parts I went with, however I'm sure it will be trumped later on as I go through my other parts, I'm going with the ASUS ROG Corsair 8 Dark Hero. It's a motherboard for power users and overclockers and has loads of features, and you can check out the video where I do an in-depth overview of it if you want. For me, really the only thing it's lacking is a second USB 3.1 Gen 1 front header and a third NVMe slot. I would have really liked to have been able to put in 3 drives. But as it stands, I can always get a third-party PCIe solution later or go with ASUS's own solution, which is pretty cool as well. Remember when I said that my motherboard was pretty gratuitous? Well, hold on tight, because here's the GPU. I'm going with the ASUS Strix OC RTX 3090. You can't get much more gratuitous than that right now. I was luckily able to get it before the tariffs and ASUS price hike hit, so instead of paying $2,200 MSRP, I paid like $1,799 and then up to about $1,900 and some after taxes. No shipping, yay, thanks Newegg. However, yes, this is overkill. I probably could have maybe went with the 3080. However, I'm glad I did go with the 3090 because I need all that VRAM. DaVinci Resolve, especially Fusion, I've been running out of I've been hitting VRAM memory out of issues with my GTX 1080. So I really think that the 3090's huge amount of memory will be a benefit to me. What overkill build would be complete, and it's not even close to complete because I have a lot more parts to go through, than going with 64 gigabytes of Corsair's Dominator Platinum RAM. I've really wanted Dom Plats for a long time now, and I finally had the opportunity to get some. These are the black version, so no white here unfortunately, but they do use the 𝐂𝐪𝐿 LEDs, which I really wish Corsair would be pushing more of into more of their products. Like, where are the fans? Give me updated HD 120s, Corsair. Come on. How about updated LED strips with diffusers included? I mean, you have this neat, I'm going on a rant here, you have this neat 𝐂𝐪𝐿 technology, and we've barely seen it. Come on, it's not even in the new Elgato LED strips. I mean, you own them. Come on! Anyway, 64 gigs of RAM. I have hit a memory wall, again, with DaVinci Resolve, and I like to have, 110 plus Chrome tabs open, so having more RAM is always fun, right? The RAM is 3600 megahertz CL16 and is specifically built for the Ryzen, or AMD platform rather, Ryzen or Threadripper. It was a pretty penny, I'm not gonna lie. However, one set of these 4 sticks cost me what 32 gigs of the G.Skill Trident RGB RAM cost me in 2018. So it kind of tells you how far we've come in terms of things going down in price. And of course 2020's craziness carrying over into 2021, it's not that less crazy, I guess. Things have they've just persisted. 2019 was a good year for parts, and most of 2020. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'll be kicking into overdrive with storage as I'll need loads of space for all my files and programs. For my 2 NVMe drives, I will be using WD Black SN850s, one 1 terabyte and one 2 terabyte drive. The 1 terabyte will be used for my OS and key programs, and the 2 terabyte I'll be using for a cache or scratch disk. Arguably, I could have went with the 500 gigabyte drive on the OS and key programs, as the OS doesn't take up too much space, and I ideally wouldn't put too many programs onto that drive anyway, and I could have saved some money as a result. Additional drives I'll be using include a Crucial MX500 2 terabyte SSD. This is where I'll probably put the majority of my programs as well as my games. And then to wrap it all up, I have 2 massive hard drives that are both Seagate Barracuda Pros 8 terabyte drives. I use this to basically put the things that don't need the speed, so pictures and documents and the older video files that I have completed the projects on. What I've been doing currently is just copying from one NVMe drive once I'm done with the project to the platter drive for, I guess, cold storage, but also to be able to grab assets later on. For my case, I'll be going with Lian Li's PC011 Dynamic XL in black. Improving on the original in almost every way, this is a larger case, it allows for more storage, and also better room for water cooling, which is what I'll be doing with this PC. I have the original PC011 in white, and I love it. However, I think the XL will give me so much more room for activities. For my power supply, I'll be carrying over the one I'm using in my current build, which is the Seasonic Prime Titanium. It's a 1000-watt power supply and fully modular. I've also ordered some custom cables from CableMod, and they're currently being processed, so I can't wait to get those. Now we get to cooling. Just as with my current build, I'll be doing some water cooling. However, I will not be using a monoblock for my CPU and power delivery. Instead, I'm just going to use EKWB's Quantum Magnitude CPU block for the 5950X. Additionally, I won't be water cooling my GPU. I really like the look of ASUS's shroud or cooler for the Strix, so I want to kind of check that out and see how it works. If it doesn't get too loud and the temperatures stay good, then I'll definitely stick to air cooling, as it's just another hassle to get that thing off and put on a water block. However, I do like water cooling. I kind of got the bug for it after doing my first build, so who knows, I might change my mind. For my radiators, I'll be using 2 EKWB Coolstream PE rads. They're medium thickness, I want to say, and they've served me well so far for the last 2.5 years in my Northern Lights build. For the pump reservoir combo, I'll be using Corsair's XD5 RGB. As far as my fittings go, I'll be using EKWB Black Chrome 16mm outer diameter fittings and Thermaltake's PETG 16mm outer diameter tubing. To cool everything down with fans, I'll be retaining my 9 Corsair HD RGB 120 fans, or HD 120 RGB fans, all controlled and powered by the Corsair Commander Pro. That's all the parts, let's build. it's all installed. We're interrupting the installation procedure to bring you a dry test run. And what is this? Yes, it's my stock cooler for my 2700X. I don't recommend doing this. I just want to see if this posts really quick. So yeah, we got a monitor, we got a 750 watt power supply, it's gold, 80 gold plus. So that's it. We got 3 independent cables. So we're just gonna go ahead and flip that on and hope for the best. All right, we got motherboard power. All right, that is all plugged in. Now, there it goes, first boot. And it's just a test. I just want to see if we post, get to BIOS. Let's see here. There's the LED lights. Flippy, flippy, flippy. We're sticking on amber. Is that... Let's see here. Okay, it's cycling again. Ah, do we have image? We do. All right. Let's see here. Ryzen 16-core processor, memory, 2 devices. New CPU installed. Please enter setup to configure your system. No keyboard detected. That's fine. Jesus, this is getting hot fast. We're just gonna go ahead and shut it down then. I think I can just hit start. There we go. And that is it. Now we can resume the installation process. And well, that wraps up the progress for today's video. I know it kind of ended on an anticlimactic note with just installing an SSD, but hey, it is what it is. I've got a lot of work left to do on the current PC, including exporting data and saving things and transferring and all that good stuff so it can end up in here. And I also got to drain the loop and clean the fans and radiators before I can even think about installing them in here. It's a very dirty machine, as it's been, well, a little over 2 years since I even cleaned it. Basically, I've never cleaned it. Temperatures are fine, but it's a damn dusty nightmare, and Greg, you'd be very happy to have received this machine for one of your cleaning episodes. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'll give you guys an update when I get through cleaning and also finishing this build. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like the video if you liked what you saw. Stick around to watch some of the other content I have, and you can show your support for the channel by clicking subscribe, and don't forget to turn on that notifications icon so you don't miss out on any future content, like part 2 of this build. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Seth, and I'll see you next time in the middle of nowhere.